it's not. So, if a man marries a woman and she does not please him because he has found something indecent in her, then he may draw up a divorce document, give it to her, and evict her from the house. When she has left him, she may go and become someone else's wife. If, if the second husband rejects her and then divorces her, gives her the papers, and evicts her from the house, or if, the second husband who married her dies, her first husband who divorced her is not permitted to remarry her after she has become ritually impure, for this is an offense to the Lord. You must not bring guilt on the land that the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance. So, you divorce a woman and she goes to someone else and you're like, man, I miss her. I'm not married, or I had a second wife and she died. I want her back. No, you sent her away. You found a reason, and it's not saying with cause. You find any reason to get rid of her. No, we're going to protect her from you being abusive and bringing her back in and then going to find something offensive again and get rid of her. No, we're going to protect her from you. That's what we're going to do. When a man is newly married, he need not go into the army, nor be obligated in any way. He must be free to stay home for a full year and bring joy to the wife he has married. The Masoretic text reading of the PL, Shemaka, bring joy to. The Syriac reads, enjoy. Okay. So is it bring joy to or enjoy? And my answer would be yes. Yes. For the first year, you are to stay home and not have social obligations, not have military service. You are supposed to spend the time with your wife. One must not take either lower or upper millstones as security on a loan, for that is like taking a life itself as security. So you can't take a millstone because then a person cannot produce work. So today, this might be something like, if I've got a whole bunch of DeWalt's and I work for a living as a carpenter, you can't take my DeWalt's as security deposit, because then I can't work and repay you. Without my tools, I can't repay you. So that's the idea here. You don't take someone's livelihood away from being able to repay you. If, if a man is found kidnapping a person from among his fellow Israelites and regards him as mere property and sells him, that kidnapper must die. In this way, you will purge the evil from the land. Okay, that thief. Okay, so they're clarifying here that the kidnapper is a thief. Wow. Like, I'm going to capture you and sell you to another country. No, can't just sell off people. Be careful during an outbreak of leprosy to follow precisely all the Levitical priests instruct you. As I have commanded them, so you should do. Remember what the Lord your God did to Miriam along the way after you left Egypt. So we're not going to give the instructions here. The priests have the instructions in the book of Levi's. They have the Levitical instructions. So you just better remember them. When you make any kind of loan to your neighbor, you may not go into his house to claim what he is offering as security. You must stand outside, and the person to whom you make the loan will bring out to you what he is offering as security. So, if you were to come, okay, I'm watching, collaborate. I'm not sure. You want to do that now? I'm confused. You didn't mention anything to me. So anyway, you don't get to come into my house and say, well, I'm going to take all those flat caps as security from you. No. I'm going to offer you a bicycle or something. Like, here's my security for you. I'll give you security. You don't get to come and ask me or search my house to find what you want.
You people, blessed morning.
Okay, that's weird.
Watcher, welcome back.
So you're not live, but it's saying stream together favorite. I don't know what's up with that.
Y'all please roll up and show her some love.
Maybe it was posted another time and it just showed up. Okay. If if the person is poor, you may not use what he gives you as security for a covering. You must by all means return it to him at sunset, the item he gave as security, so that he may sleep in his outer garments and bless you for it. It will be considered a just deed by the Lord your God. So, if I take your coat as security and you need your coat to keep you warm at night, I give it back to you so you have it to keep warm at night. I don't get to keep myself warm at night with your coat. You must not oppress a lowly or poor servant, whether one from among your fellow Israelites or from the resident foreigners who are living in the land and villages. You cannot oppress the lowly and the poor servant or the foreigners. You must pay his wage the very day before sun sets. He is poor, and his life depends on it. Otherwise, he will cry out to the Lord against you, and you will be guilty of sin. Okay, so we don't have a system where you pay people the day that they work. But day laborers can get paid that way. Sometimes they, if they're doing a job for a couple of days, you might get paid later. But I love the principle here. Don't hold on to the earnings that someone has. Pay them as timely as you can. Fathers must not be put to death for what their children do, nor children for what their fathers do. Each must be put to death for his own sin. So there might be consequences that result on the family for what you do, good or bad. But death, no, we're not going there. You must not pervert justice due to a resident foreigner or an orphan, or take a widow's garment as security. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and the Lord your God redeemed you from there. Therefore, I am commanding you to do all this. Whenever you reap your harvest in your fields and leave some unraked grain there, you must not return to get it. It should go to the resident foreigner, orphan, and widow, so the Lord your God may bless all the work you do. When you beat your olive tree, you must not repeat the process. The remaining olives belong to the resident foreigner, orphan, and widow. When you gather grapes of your vineyard, you must not do so a second time. They should go to the resident foreigner, orphan, and widow. Remember that you were slaves in the land of Egypt. Therefore, I am commanding you to do all these things. So when you go to do a harvest and you miss some, don't go back. When you're doing fruit and not all of it's ripe, when you say it's time to harvest, you harvest. Don't go back a second time and get all those extra ones. That's for the poor. That's for the orphan. That's for the foreigner. It's for those people who cannot provide for themselves. They now can go and be provided from the abundance of blessing that you had. Lucis, I think it's kind of like you offer your bike as security, but you have two. The other person can't come and choose the one he wants, but you bring the one you wanted to give as security. That's true. Yeah, that totally would apply too. Yeah, if I have multiple bikes, I'm going to pick the one I want to give you as security. You don't get to pick the one I want as security. That would totally apply to that. If if controversy arises between people, they should go to a court for judgment. When the judges hear the case, they shall exonerate the innocent but condemn the guilty. Then if the guilty person is sentenced to a beating, the judge shall force him to lie down and be beaten in his presence with the number of blows his wicked behavior deserves. The judge may sentence him to 40 blows, but no more. If he is struck with more than these, you might view your fellow Israelite with contempt. So this is to limit the person being punished from having resentment against society and the system for being punished. So we limit it. Now, it's not to say every time you get to go 40. 40 is the max, okay? So 40 is severe. Beyond that. So 40 is the what? 40 is the number of testing. 40 is the number of trial. So 40 is testing you to see if you are going to fall back in line with loving God and loving your neighbor, or if you're going to continue down the path. So 40 blows would be testing you to see what you're going to do. You must not muzzle your ox when he is treading grain. Now, some of these just like feel like they're thrown in here. I think there's a bigger motif here, but some of this is like case law. Like, hey, this came about, we saw it, we've made a statement about it. I'm putting these statements together in here. I think there's a bigger overall overarching theme going on here that these are contained among, and what we have is a sense of injustice, of limitation, of retribution. That's what we have a whole bunch of going on here, of things that have to do with overreacting or limiting access. There's the both of these going back and forth, it seems. If if brothers live together and one of them dies without having a son, the dead man's wife must not remarry someone outside the family. Instead, her late husband's brother must go to her, marry her, and perform the duty of a brother-in-law. Okay, what do they have here? This is the so-called Levirate custom from the Latin term lever, brother-in-law, an ancient provision whereby a man who died without male descendants to carry on his name would have a son by proxy, that is, through the surviving brother who would marry his widow, and whose first son would then be attributed to the brother who had died. This is the only reference to this practice in the Old Testament legal text, but it is illustrated in the story of Judah and his sons, and possibly in the account of Ruth and Boaz. I don't think that's possibly, it's definitely there in Ruth and Boaz. So we have two people that we know or we see witness practice it, Judah and Tamar, or Judah and his sons with Tamar, and Ruth and Boaz. So then the first son she bears will continue the name of the dead brother, thus preventing his name from being blotted out. So Judah is practicing this before the law is given. And his son, one of them, doesn't want to participate in it. But if if the man does not want to marry his brother's widow, then she must go to the elders at the gate and say, "My husband's brother refuses to preserve his brother's name in Israel. He is unwilling to perform the duty of a brother-in-law to me." Then the elders of the city must summon him and speak to him. If if he persists, saying, "I don't want to marry her," then the sister-in-law must approach him in view of the elders, remove his sandal from his foot, and spit in his face. So, the Ruth story, removing the sandal. She will then respond, "Thus may it be done to any man who does not maintain his brother's family line. His family name will be referred to in Israel as the family of the one whose sandal was removed." And there is spitting. I know. The family of the unsandaled. The house. Oh, I like house better. Like the House of Windsor. The House of the Unsandaled. It sounds more